What up, fam? Hit that like, hit that subscribe. This is A2D Wednesday nights. Talking Eagles with you. Stay tuned.
What's up, my family? Listen, first-time listener, or you've been here the whole damn time. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, giddy up, let's go, no notes.
That's my baby.
I'm dying.
That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they did it! They did it!
Slap.
What the hell was that?
Oh, yeah!
What the f*** are you talking about?
Welcome in, everybody. This is A2D Wednesday nights, only on A2D Radio. Every Wednesday, we are brought to you by Royal Billiard, the premier game room store in the Delaware Valley. Stocked with the very best for everything you need for your game room, entertainment room. Go check them out. They also got hot tubs too, baby. Located 515 Bethlehem Pike, Colmar, PA, or visit them on the web, royalbilliard.com. We got Blake, we got Frank, we got Chrome, we got Greg. I'm Tom. Everybody out there, welcome in. We'll do locks of the week at the end of the show as we go through NFL or the slate of week 17 games. All right. I can't believe we're at week 17 already, guys.
I know, right?
You know what I mean? It's like it just started. Now we're at week 17. Oh, I don't like it. I don't like it. But the main topic at hand is going to be Eagles. We're going to look back at Giants, and we're obviously going to preview Eagles Cardinals coming up, trying to get to 12-4, baby. Right? Trying to get to 12-4 right now. So big game coming up. All right. And we'll also segue into the future a little bit. We'll look into the future when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles tonight on A2D Wednesday nights. So hit the like, subscribe, stay with us. And here's our poll. And that is going to be brought to you by our good friends over at Baggio's Bread. They're located in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. Home of the very best and stuffed breads, tomato pies, sandwiches, cut with meatballs. You mentioned A2D Radio. Get 10% off your order. Baggio's Bread. Our poll. You believe that the Eagles are Super Bowl contenders? Agree or disagree? Let us know. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. That's where we're live. Everywhere you get your podcast, we're there as well. Hit the like, subscribe, follow. Like I say, join the conversation. So, before the season, obviously a lot of us had them as contenders, right? And to me, I can see why people won't, right? I'll see why people disagree and are not Super Bowl contenders. Because they've been sloppy. They haven't been the same as last year. They keep saying they got things to fix. They haven't fixed them, right? They haven't played that clean game. Last week was offensively was probably their best game, right? And it's the turnover, the two turnovers are what changed that one. 14 points right there. So, but at the end of the day, that was probably their best game. Like offensively, a bad team. Okay? Get it. They're 11-4 right now. They got the chance to go 12-4 next week. They got a chance, like we talked about last week, to go 13-3 or 13-4, right? So who's to say that any other team's better than them? We've seen the Niners, okay? I get it, right? That's a really good team in Baltimore. They're tough, man. They're tough. They're the best team in the AFC. All right, I get it. They still lost at home to them and got embarrassed. So teams get embarrassed in this league. Teams have rough stretches in this league. Okay. All I know is I'm going to have a home game here at some point early on, and we'll see where the chips fall. But you can't say they're not contenders when you got to look at everybody else too, right? You got to look at everybody else, right? You put everybody else on a pedestal. Who else is on this big ass pedestal? Who's saying a wild card team can't go into the Bay Area and beat them? They're unbeatable. They're beatable. So who knows who you would play in a conference championship game or a divisional round? You don't know who you're going to play. You know what I mean? You don't know who you're going to play yet. Nothing's guaranteed. Nothing's set in stone, right? Right? There's nothing set in stone. You're not going to go to San Fran until the NFC Championship game. You could see Dallas prior. Okay. That's a tough game in Dallas. We know that. Okay? That's a tough game. But here, that's a lot easier. And it would be here. So, right, the way it's shaking out right now, it would be here. So who's so goddamn scared out there? They've been sloppy. They haven't been good enough. But I want to feel like the light switch turns on. I want to feel like when the lights get bright, they'll turn on. Because they turned on last year. So when they turn on again, when a pass rush get home, will all the freaking things that aren't happening this year that happened last year start to work again? Okay. I'm praying to God as we get deeper, we're already deep as shit, but as we get deeper, right, they're even going to run the ball more, right? I'm waiting for it, right? So who's to say they're not? Right? They're 11-4 football team. They're first in they're in the NFC East, okay? And they're what, third in the NFC behind Detroit, who's going to Dallas this week. So that could change, okay? So if you're 1-3, one in the 1-3 spot, you got a lot coming through you first, right? Before a title game. So that makes you a damn contender. So if you don't think they'll win a big game at home and a divisional round, then stop watching. Stop watching. I'm watching enough football. It ain't shit guaranteed. But to say they ain't, that you act like they're scratching to get into the playoffs. They not act like they're scratching to get in. They're scratching to play good football. That's what they're scratching to do. To play complete game, to get turnovers, to do those things. They haven't came yet. But maybe turnovers will start coming in bunches all of a sudden. Maybe all of a sudden we start finding the football in our hands. I don't know. But I know they're 11-4. And you ain't a fraud. They ain't no damn fraud to get there. Like, we act like they didn't beat no good teams because they struggle against the Giants. They beat good teams, right? They're trying to figure stuff out right now. But if you look at everybody else in the damn mirror, who you scared of? Who you downright scared of to say that it's a guaranteed loss to go to a Super Bowl? Who? That's scared. Come on, man. We all got eyeballs. We know San Fran's good. We know Dallas is good at home. We know Detroit's really good at home. Okay? So are we. They all got warts. They all got damn warts. We just see it here more because it's here. I've never seen an 11-4 football team more scrutinized. I know things got to be better. I got eyeballs. I watched Jalen not play good enough, but he played better last week besides the pick, right? He played better last week. So, there's some positives. We ran the ball well last week, right? So let's take some positive things and say, hey, we're 11-4, and we didn't get here by damn accident. Okay, he's got 4 game-winning drives this year too. As much as I've been critical of him, that's winners, right? His numbers are better than Brock Purdy's, Mr. MVP. Okay, they said Jalen just have 1 or 2 games where he turned the ball over a bunch. He spread it out. It makes sense. He's been consistent. Where other guys will take 3, like Brock will take 3 in a game. Make sense, Greg? So, I mean, come on, man. Like, I don't love everything that's going on. It feels like there's some divide in the locker room and coaches, right? But maybe there isn't. Maybe it's just we're seeing it wrong. I don't know. But we're 11-4, and we got 2 more games, and we're playing playoff football. So tell me there ain't a damn contender. I wouldn't be listening to Eagles talk then. You know what I mean? Why wouldn't he be doing it? A contender. 11-4. Number 1 team in the NFC East. 3 in the conference, not a contender. Knock it off. Knock it the hell off. Everybody is. All 4 of those teams are contenders. Niners, Detroit, Eagles, Dallas. They're your contenders. And then you got a sleeper in maybe a Tampa. Okay? But they're your 4 real contenders. That their fan base can go around and say to all of us, hey, I can contend. Rant's over. Rant's over. Go ahead, boys. Thanks for that.
No, Tommy, that's good.
I was coming in. I needed to get me going. You know what I mean?
Sometimes you gotta up the energy yourself sometimes. But you're absolutely right too, right? And I'm sitting here as a holder of a over 11.5 wins for the Eagles, NFC champions and Super Bowl champion tickets. So of course I'm going to agree, right? And I think Tommy, what you did too is you took a step back from the last 4 weeks, right? And you look at the overall picture, right? You look at the gauntlet that we went through, right? We beat Miami. We come back and beat Buffalo when we looked like crap, right? You go on the road to beat Kansas City after a bye, right? And all those things don't usually amount to wins. And this team just found ways to win. Yes. Do they look like dog shit right now? Yes. In some aspects, especially the 3 weeks when we lost those 3 in a row. Yes, they look downright bad. And it's easy to pile on and sit there and say, you disagree, right? I'm watching that game on Sunday, and I know the Ravens are a really good team, but I'm watching a San Francisco team that just completely overlooked and just came out in that game like their shit didn't stink. They don't scare me. Are they a good team? Sure. But you got to remember who their coach is, right?
That's who scares me, Craig. Baltimore scares me more than the Niners
Baltimore is, I mean, you listen to Patrick Queen and Roquan Smith talk about they just want to hit people. That scares me because we could have had both of them. Spoiler alert. But no, I do think they are contenders. As you said, Tommy, anybody in that top 4, anybody hosting a first round playoff game or a second round, if you're the number 1 seed, is a contender in the NFC.
Yeah.
You can't take away the first 12, 13 weeks all of a sudden to say this team that we're watching now is the team that they are. Right?
Yeah, it stinks.
Yeah. You just can't take that away and put what we've watched the last 4 weeks as, oh, this team is there. Because if you did that, you'd be me in 2017 questioning this team the whole time in the playoffs when they almost lost to Oakland at home. In that week 16, 17 game where it was the first or second week without Carson, we're wanting to see what Nick looks like, and he looked like absolute dog do.
Yeah.
And then what did he do in the playoffs though? He found ways to win, right? Even those playoff games. Oh, this is me, right? This is absolutely me in 2017. That run. Oh, Keanu Neal booted that ball, right? Oh, next game wasn't pretty. But what happened at the end, right? You found a way to win. And that's what this team done up until recently. And so I'm going to agree.
Yeah, I feel like as you should. Not trying to put pressure on people, right? It's not homers, right? Philly Sports are big. Hold on, I got to call you guys out. Did you not see the Niners come here? Yeah, dude. We saw it. We saw it. But that's one game.
It was a regular season game.
It's one game.
It was a regular season game.
Who did it mean more to at that point? Really, then.
That was their Super Bowl.
It should have meant a lot to us, but whatever. We saw it. That wasn't good, right? That wasn't good. But we're also 11-4. Did you see Buffalo come here?
We also just came off with 3 straight wins. And again, not making excuses, but they had 10 days to prepare for us. Buffalo had 10 days to prepare for us. Kansas City had 14 days to prepare for us. Come on.
Yeah, the defense.
I watched it. Trust me, I watched it.
All right, so everybody out there, you believe that the Eagles are Super Bowl contenders. Agree or disagree? Let us know. Comment in. Tell us why. Why either way? All right, because if you disagree, you don't have them as a top 5 seed, right? That's where the disagree can come in at, to me. Or, you know what I mean? Top 4 power ranking in the NFC, not seeds, because seeds go by divisions. All right, right? So, not seeds.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump in here too. I agree to the poll. Listen, I think what we've learned is, as opposed to a season like last year, nobody's really the breakout team at this point. You could say the 49ers, but the 49ers have lost a good team. The 49ers lost 3 games in a row at one point this season. There's been times where Baltimore was questioned early on about, were they real or not? Miami's had those questions. I mean, you can go up and down like Buffalo, who now Buffalo's the darling again. But 3 weeks ago, they were talking about, is Josh Allen that guy? Is he overrated? I mean, we can go up and down the league, and I can point out every team that's going to be potentially playoffs or a playoff team and pinpoint a time in this year where they were questioned. Ours just happened to come at a really tough stretch where we lost some games. We lost the Jets game we shouldn't have lost. That was a lot of mental mistakes at the end of the game. And, you ran a gauntlet here. That Seattle team, despite their record, is a tough team. It's always been a tough team for us. It's well coached. Geno Smith's a really good quarterback, and we got caught with our pants down. At the end of that game, James Bradbury specifically got caught with his pants down at the end of that game. But when I look at the last couple of weeks, right, you can even take that Seattle game. I mean, the defense only gave up, I think, 17 points, right, until that last stretch, that last drive. Yeah. And then even this week, right? Like we talked about the Jalen pick. I mean, the receiver fell down. That wasn't on Jalen. The receiver just straight up fell down, and there was nobody there to end up taking the defender down. So, I mean, I kind of almost absolved him that. You look at the defense this week, they only gave up 18 points. So there's a lot that you can really look at where we have seen improvements. And again, I thought offensively, the game plan was much better, much more well-balanced. And then it's the effort that you're seeing on the field, right? I mean, going out there and seeing Jalen Hurts out there this week, putting his body on the line to throw a block when you got George Pickens in Pittsburgh who won't block for his running back, Jalen Warren. I mean, That's the kind of stuff that you see on teams that are good teams that do the things to win, and that's the type of stuff you'll see in the playoffs from this team. So, I mean, I think it's silly and foolish to throw the towel in now. And they have 2 more weeks to work out the kinks. I thought this was a good step in the right direction, even though it wasn't as easy as we hoped it would be. But it was a step in the right direction. And then again, guys, all you got to do is get in. When we've seen, I mean, we watched the Giants walk in limping into the playoffs and cruise to a Super Bowl over the New England Patriots. Anybody can win when you get in. 2 years ago, or was it 2 or 3 years ago, Green Bay looked unbeatable and lost in the first round. Got knocked out first round.
At home.
By San Francisco at home when San Francisco was not that good of a team
Jimmy
at that point.
Jimmy G.
So, I mean, there's a lot of things that you can look at, a lot of factors, and there's a lot of recency bias on why people are down on this team. But if we just really look at the scope of how the whole season has gone, there's way more good to take them back. And you're starting to get healthy. Shaq Leonard has looked much better now. He looks
big week.
Comfortable. Had a really big week. He actually got home this week. And you're going to be getting Avonte Maddox back, who, in my opinion, guys, of anyone we've lost this season,
biggest one.
That one has been an absolute killer because the middle of the field has been nothing but exposed the rest of the time. So if he's healthy and he's ready to roll, I feel so much better with the additions of Byard. Maybe he makes Byard a little bit better back there with that extra level protection, with Shaq Leonard back there, and with Blankenship having a good year.
And hopefully Cunningham's going to get healthier, like Dave Gates says, right? He didn't say Cunningham, but talks about the secondary getting healthier, right?
Morrow, I think, is going to be back this week, I believe.
Yeah,
so.
They're going to get healthier, hopefully, going into the dance, right? And we talked about it. It's a war of nutrition, right? So can you be healthy enough, right? You hopefully get Slay back, and then we'll see what they do with Bradbury, right? To see what they do with him. To see if Ringo, I wonder again, if Ringo plays great again this week, right? There might be questions, and Bradbury gets targeted like he did again last week. There might be, and we can talk about this as we go on, but there might be conversations about, who do you start a rookie there over Bradbury?
Well, I think you roll with a short leash. Well, I mean, we'll dive into it.
We'll dive into it, but it's just
you go short leash.
It's just things that are going to get better here, just with guys coming back on the field, right?
Yeah,
and
big additions. It's like making a midseason. It's like making an end-season trade to go out and get depth.
And part of it is, can you as a football team, can you get home enough defensively, right, and get off the field on third downs? That's going to be the difference if they're going to go to a Super Bowl or not, right? And we're going to find out over the next few weeks if this line keeps creating pressure and can get home. So
that's been the killer too, Tom. Real quick before you do, then I mean the pressure's there. The numbers are there on how many pressures they're getting. They just can't get to the quarterback to finish.
Yeah, they just don't get there. It's crazy, and because teams are targeting that. Hey, get the ball out quick, and they've been right. Mm-hmm. That's credit to teams, and we never adjusted defensively. I've said it for years. If you're getting there almost, you got to bump guys. You can't be scared about the deep play, but and they still don't do enough of it. But I do like Patricia better than Desai.
So much better.
Just from the eyeballs, right, guys? And we'll keep talking about everything and read everybody's comments off as well. Billy Bluebill says the same thing. I didn't read it wrong this time. All right.
I like Billy Bluebill.
What do we say? You believe that the Eagles are Super Bowl contenders? Agree or disagree? Let us know, everybody. Frank, let us know.
I'll go. I'll also agree to the poll. Yeah, I mean, we're winning games. I love that we're 11-4. We're playing very iffy football. It's getting better. This past week, we should have blown out the Giants. I mean, you had that really boneheaded fumble from Zacchaeus colliding to Boston Scott. I mean, shit happens. Then you had that unlucky pick six. Shit happens. But other than that, I mean, we're only the fourth. We have the fourth best odds to winning the Super Bowl behind San Fran, Baltimore, and Miami. So as everybody says, we're still pretty high on that. And
I'm more concerned. I'm more crazy about Miami. Sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're fine. But guys are getting healthy. I mean, you also have Landon Dickerson coming back, Avonte coming back, Cunningham coming back. A lot of guys coming back, and that's definitely going to help this team going into the playoffs. And these next two games are going to be really important to see if they can get it all together, especially against teams that are basically jockeying for a top 10 pick in the draft. Arizona, their ass. The Giants, they're switching to Tyrod Taylor for their last 2 weeks. They haven't looked great for the majority of the year, but I think we are contenders. I think these next 2 weeks, we got to get the job done all 4 quarters. That's the big thing that we've seen all season, is that this team hasn't played a truly complete game. Yes, we're 11-4, but the ways that we have won these games, we either came in the clutch or too many close calls. So these 2 games, we just got to see what happens and take it week by week going into the playoffs, because, hey, maybe San Fran will falter these last 2 weeks. Maybe Dallas will falter. Maybe, I'm sorry, Don, but maybe Detroit will falter to help our place in the NFC standings. And that first round bye is going to be really important to us. So let's just hope and pray we get the job done. Hope something really good happens in our favor. That's all I want.
All right, Blake, what do you say?
Yeah, I'm going to agree to the poll, guys, as well. What I took from this past week's game was, look, like you guys have already mentioned, like earlier, throughout, each one of your statements. Look, it wasn't perfect. It was sloppy, but we got the job done. And my whole thing is, and that, you know this from me, Tom, that look, a win's a win. And that's the way I look at it. That's the way I take it. It wasn't the most perfect win, but I'll take it. A couple things that I'm still a little concerned with, though, is the way Jalen, the way he's is still reading the field. Like, that one play where he got picked off with the pick six. And then, like, when he had, I don't know if anybody mentioned this at all. Like, it was like towards the end of the first half where, he should have known, like, all right, you got to get out of bounds in that situation, not stay in bounds. Now, luckily, we dodged the bullet. They got that, we had that penalty that went our way. But if that penalty doesn't happen, we're not kicking that field goal, and we're going to the locker room up 17-3 and not 20-3. So that was a couple things that concerned me a little bit. But look, it's minor things that he can clean up. I still think he's still not, the same Jalen that we've grown to know, that, that we can count on. Like like that was automatic like last year. I still think he's still working towards that. But I think each and every week he's improving. And I think if he can get to that level as we get into the postseason here, I think the sky's the limit. And I think with a healthy Jalen and, if he can recoup some of that magic from last year, I think, this team can go far. Because, like I said, I was encouraged by some things last week. But, yeah, like I said, it was a little sloppy, but I'll take the W. So, like I said, I'll agree to the poll.
Yeah, I mean, they still, listen, they still are. Like, you go lose Arizona, and then you follow up and you lose the season finale. All right, we might sit here and say, okay, I don't know, right? But if you just go win those, if you go beat Arizona and say week 18 doesn't matter, then we'll figure that out when we get there, right? But you go beat, which I think it will matter, but you go beat Arizona and you go up to the Meadowlands and win week 18, and you're going in there winners of 3 straight, regardless of who you played. Right, that brings the locker room together a little bit more. So if there is some things that maybe are brewing, right, which I don't know, I'm not that guy to go say that there is, right. I think some of it's overblown, right. But if there is things brewing, I think then that calms those types of things down too, right. And listen, the thing with Jalen is he has his ups and downs with me, but the 4 game winning drives this year, okay, is big. And I don't want to run from that. And again, he'll get judged by me fully when the playoffs hit. You know what I mean? Like we talked about last week. So this isn't, this is all good. Go play good football, right? I definitely judge your regular season. Don't get me wrong. But go play good football in the playoffs, right? Like if we lose a football game, let me come on the show on the post game and have to blame it on the defense, right? Don't make me have to come on and blame it on you. That's all I ask from Jalen, right? Like do everything you can to help us win football games. And I think a lot of that's going to be relying on the run game, right? I think if the Eagles run the football like they should, okay, I think that's going to relieve a lot of pressure on him and create a lot more of those one-on-ones that we're not seeing per se, especially on the deep shots. All right. So another question for you guys.
Well, before
Let's
you
go.
do that, Tom, let me
go
go to this too. Just replying to your Blake. This idea of the recapture the magic from last year. I'm not looking for that. It's not the same football team. I'm not looking for the magic of last year. Give me what I saw early in the season, the first half of the season, and then sprinkle in a little bit of what we saw in those game-winning drives as far as closing games, because that's what they're not doing at this point. And Seattle was a proof of that, right? And the Jets loss was proof of that they weren't closing games. Show me just what I've seen this year at certain points. I don't care about last year. Last year was what it was. In terms of how we're going to judge Jalen Hurts and some of these other guys, yeah, we'll look at the body of work at the end of this season. But for what I need to see this year, I've seen it. I need to see it again. And I think that's going to come with the health.
Yeah, it's going to come playoff time. You know what I mean? Like to see what we saw last year comes on playoff time, hopefully. Right? Where his game elevates and he elevates the people around him. That's what it comes down to. But I mean, I don't need to see last year. I need to see that type of offense, like the RPOs, right? The ability to do more of that stuff. That's the kind of stuff I want to see. And I think that kind of stuff would open up the things we're talking about. So, I don't like that he has a little bit more say in the offense and we're not running those types of things that he runs really well, right? You know what I mean? That's like, why? What are we doing? So a little interesting there. Okay. But at the end of the day, look at this offense. Look what we're rolling out there on a given wild card weekend or divisional round. All right. And then look at what this defense could be up front if they can create the pressure and get home like we know they can. Right? Like we know they can. So let's go over a couple of other polls we had. Or you're right, questions. Let's go. You believe the Eagles will end up the number 1 seed in the NFC? Do you agree or disagree on that? That will take the Niners losing one of their next two and us winning out. And I know they play the Rams one time and they play the Rams next week.
Yeah.
Okay. So they play the Rams or this week. You mean this week coming up?
This
week 18.
Commanders.
Or week 18, I'm sorry.
This week's the Commanders.
This week's Commanders.
And that's in San Fran.
That I believe is in FedEx, I believe.
So they're on the road twice.
Check.
Wow, okay. So they have 2 road games.
Let's see. Let's pull up the schedule for the
That's
Niners.
interesting.
Yeah, okay. So it's a home game against the Rams, and the game against the Commanders is away.
So, okay, so they're home against the Rams. All right.
Home against the Rams.
All right. That's a big game for the Rams.
Jacoby Brissett for the Commanders, though.
Yeah, dude,
Jacoby
listen.
Brissett playing for a job. Like crazy things have happened, right? You mean, Tom, like you said, like just get in. Like, I saw Don post a question earlier about the Vikings last year. Were they contenders? Well, yeah, they were in the dance. Everybody get to the dance as a contender. Now, there's levels to that.
Yep.
Right? There's levels to that for sure. But you look at it, you look at a team like the Commanders, they're not fighting for anything, but Jacoby Brissett himself is.
Yeah.
Right? Ron Rivera's competing to keep his job.
Well, that's not happening. I don't think there's any chance.
I hear you.
But to your point about Jacoby Brissett, what's going for him too, and why he has more to play for. That offense has looked better both games where he was implemented in halfway through the game. Mm-hmm. They have looked much more fluid to where he really does, especially if he has a big win towards the end of this year. He really has a chance to get a little bit of a payday and maybe get a starting job next year.
I'm going to say the Niners caught the game up, and we win our last 2, and everything comes through Philly. Now we would need Detroit to lose a game too.
Yeah, that's when you have to root. We have to root for the Cowboys this week, right?
Yeah.
It's such a tough one this week, especially with the Detroit Dallas game, because it's like you want Dallas to lose because that'll help our odds to win the East. But at the same time, when it comes to the standings, if we win, and Detroit wins, Detroit jumps us to number 2. So that'll have us for the 3 seed because of strength of victory. So it's like, let's just hope they tie. At this
So
point.
is Detroit underneath of us right now in the standings? thought they were ahead of
Detroit
us.
is currently 3. Yes.
They're currently 3. Okay.
Yep.
I thought they were 2. All right. No, that's even better in terms of these odds, right? So you just got to win out. San Fran's got to lose 1 game.
Right.
So I'll agree. I'll agree. Let's say everything runs through South Philadelphia. Let's fucking go here.
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
Let's go.
I agree. This league is we talk about it week in and week out. This league is weird. It doesn't make a lot of sense week in and week out, right? Like,
Yeah.
What are the Patriots doing winning games? What are the Steelers doing winning games? Like, how does Mason Rudolph go off, right? You know what I mean? Like, against the Bengals team that was still in playoff position, right? You know, so yeah, I'm gonna agree. I do think we back ourselves into the number 1 seed, which sounds so crazy to say. Back yourselves into the number 1 seed.
No, that's insane.
Yeah, you are right, Frank. Just the tiebreaker why the Eagles are as of now are ahead of the Lions is strength of schedule.
Yeah, strength of
Or
schedule,
strength of victory.
Yeah, strength of victory. Yeah, I was like doing the math. I was on playoff predictors about it. I'm like, wait, how is Detroit going to jump us? And then I'm looking, and I was like, it's going to be like a 1/10 of a percent. I think it's like 100th of a percentage point that separates the 2 and the 3 seed for us in Detroit.
Guess that would be the Dallas win
It would be the Dallas win
if they were a win, right?
if they were to win.
Yeah, and then they got the Vikings. So I mean, divisional game. They don't got. It's not the easiest. It's not a given for them either.
And I think and Minnesota's fighting for their lives as well.
Exactly. So, well, I'll say whatever way it happens, the Eagles sneak into that 1 again, and then when that happens, everything's going to go crazy around here because I know how this whole thing operates at this point. Right? I got such a pulse on it that then everybody's going to be back, right? Because then you're going to say to yourself, "There's no goddamn way they come here twice and beat us." Right? Come on back. Hey, come on back. Because I think the biggest thing for us and why I'm talking this into existence before you guys tell me if you agree or disagree is that, I'm talking into existence because I want this defensive line to get off their feet for a week. I really want this D line to have that extra week. I think that extra week could go a long goddamn way for those 2 young guys, for Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter, and even for Josh White. He played the most snaps of his life, right? They need that extra week. So I'm going to talk it into existence. All right. What do you guys say? You agree or disagree? Number 1 seed. End up being the number 1 seed. Greg?
Oh, I agree.
Oh, hey. Just figure we're going same order. I didn't know.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I agree.
Oh, you went? I didn't even know
Yeah.
you went. Did you just sneak it in there?
No,
I think he snuck it in. I didn't hear him
It was
either.
a
I think
good
he snuck it in.
My bad.
I don't
my
sneak
bad.
many things in, so
No, that's terrible. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Hey, Happy New Year, everybody. We know
you look
Greg
at me. I don't
resolution.
sneak anything.
All right, so Greg did go. Bro.
I feel like I'm not saying it's impossible, but that's extremely optimistic, and a lot of things have to go the right way.
Not a lot.
And I'm not quite there yet. So, well, it is. I mean, first of all, you got to rely on Dallas, who does not look very reliable.
No,
right
you just have to
now.
rely on them going 1-1.
And you got to count on. I mean, the Rams game's a tough game, but you got to count on San Francisco dropping either to them or I don't know if I see it happening.
But that
Just
game,
1-1.
obviously seeding wise, yes, but that game, for all intents and purposes, doesn't mean anything for the Niners. Like you said, seeding outside of it, yes. But are they going to play? Are you going to play the whole thing for seeding?
Everybody plays for the
I hear you.
number 1 seed at home. Absolutely.
We also got to factor in
Absolutely.
too, real quick. Talk about the Lions. Right now, the Vikings are that 8 seed, so the Vikings, need a win.
No, that's a big game for the Vikings. So I don't care what, all those teams have a divisional game that means something. Where my whole argument is we have 2 teams that doesn't mean shit for them. They almost want to lose, right? Right? Giants never want to lose to us, but you get my point, right? Both teams essentially how high of a pick can we get, right? That's what they're in. When you talk about the 2 teams, when you talk about 2 of the teams, or actually 3 teams, one that San Fran has to play in the Rams, okay, that are fighting. And then you talk about the Lions are playing two teams that are fighting for something, right? So nobody's got that, right? We're the only one with the layup line. That's why I'm going there. I'm going layup line where somebody lays an egg. Somebody else lays an egg. Those two teams lay an egg somewhere. Maybe not impossible. Well, you got the better chance of Detroit laying an egg. There's a better chance of Detroit laying an egg.
Maybe, but I also kind of I believe just like we've had it here, your first time in the playoffs in 30 years, you think that team's not going to play their ass off to get the highest seed in as many
of course
home
they
games
will,
as
Chrome,
they
but
can
they're not
get?
beating that. They're probably not going to beat Dallas and Dallas, so.
I don't know. We'll see. It's
Well,
tough
Dallas
team.
is just unbeatable there, is my point. Like, you know what I mean? There's unbeatable there.
They're
So,
really good, yeah.
like, we just watched San Fran get exposed. Like, I can't sit here and say, against a great Baltimore team, I can't sit here and say, well, there's no shot that they won't go 1-1. We're asking for a 1-1 thing. We're not asking, right? Nothing crazy. They're not like 0-2. 0-2 is asking for a lot, right? Because neither one of those teams, that's going to happen, I don't think, right? But 1-1's realistic. Same with us. Shit, we go 1-1, right? And then we're sitting here kicking ourselves, right? But if we don't, right, before you guys answer, if we don't, we're going to look back at that Seattle game. We're going to be really pissed.
Or the Jets game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I'm just going to go closer. I'm going to go closer to home, per se. Not really closer to home, but you get it.
Yeah.
Frank, what do you think? Number 1 seed?
Oh, man, it's a tough one. You really got to hope, you know, a lot of things go in our favor. And right now, as I see it, as much as I would love to happen for us to get that number 1 seed and have everything go through Philly, I just don't see it happen at this moment. I don't. So I disagree. I think the best seed we can get right now is 2. I'll be fine with 2. 3 is what I don't want. I don't want that 3 seed because looking at right now, if the playoffs started today, we would get Seattle. And Seattle, I don't know what it is with Seattle, but Seattle gives us fits every single time we play them.
Yeah.
So that's the one team I do not want at the playoffs. So I'll be happy with 2. I'll be elated if we get 1.
Yeah.
But we just got to hope a lot of things happen.
Yeah, Blake, what do you say?
Yeah, I'm going to disagree along with Frank. I think for right now, as much as I'd like to get the 1 seed, I just think for right now, the best I think at this point is to hope we get the 2 seed. We get the first 2 at home, and then hopefully San Francisco maybe falters in their first game, which is probably highly unlikely. But the way they got exposed, like you said last week, it could be possible. But I think for right now, I'm fine with the number 2 seed. And I mean, as much as I'd like to see the number 1 seed, I just don't see right now being realistic right now. Although anything can happen these last 2 weeks, so we'll see what happens. But I'll be fine with the 2 seed if that's what it comes to.
Yeah, I'm not against it too. Right. I'm trying to talk optimistic where there's no way San Fran comes here and beats us. It's a great storyline, right? Heading into that week that they're, they think they're going to come beat us here twice, 2 times in a row in 1 year, not happening type deal. Great for TV if they're writing the script, right? If they got the script, that's what they want, right? You want that script or you want Dallas coming here. You know what I mean? That's what essentially the script wants.
Third time.
Yeah, third time. So I don't know. I mean, it's a tough question because again, like I don't think a lot needs to happen, just enough, right? It's not like crazy. Like a lot would be like you need 3 teams to do this and do that, right? Like it's just hey, we need Detroit to go 1-1, and San Fran's the harder one, right? In terms of like thinking that they're going to go 1-1. That's
no, agreed.
They're better than Detroit, but not by a lot. Like I don't know how much better.
Yeah, and just for comparison's sake, right? You're looking at Arizona, our schedule. Arizona is currently the number 2 pick, and the Giants are the number 5 pick right now. So both of those teams do no favors to themselves to win, right? Because then Arizona, if they win, which they're not, puts them with 4 wins with Washington, New England, and then the Giants puts them at 6 wins with the Bears and the Jets, which puts them almost near 10. None of those teams want to. When you're that bad, you don't want to pick in the 10s. You want to be down in the top 5, top 6.
No, absolutely, you want to be. So, all right, got another one here. We'll do one more, and then we'll take a break, and then we'll come back and we'll do a couple more of them. We'll answer your guys' questions, comments, whatever you guys want us to talk about. But that one was a little bit different, right? We didn't have not as many agrees on that one.
Yeah.
So, everybody more thinking 2 seed, which is probably good. It's good thinking, smart thinking. Yeah. But I'm saying, try talking some shit into existence. Doesn't work all the time, but we could try to do our best to help the team. So the Eagles are still feeling the effects of Jonathan Gannon's departure. Do you agree or disagree? Disagree completely. We're missing the effects of not having another D end to take time off of Josh Sweat. We're missing the fact of not having another interior lineman. We're missing the effects of not having a Gardner Johnson, right? We're missing those effects more than we're missing Jonathan Gannon. We're missing TJ Edwards more and Kaiser White more than we're missing Jonathan Gannon. So no,
to me.
No, he's a loser. What he did is loser shit. The way the tampering and all the crap that was pulled leading up to the Super Bowl when Vic Fangio would have ended up being hired here. No, I'm never going to agree to anything that supports Jonathan Gannon ever. Right? I'm not saying I don't wish him no success. Make sense? I'll never agree to anything about him being like hurting us not having him. You want to talk about Shane Steichen? Different conversation, right? You want to talk about guys like that? Sure. Never him. Because I don't think it was a Jonathan Gannon that was this great defensive coordinator. Look at the talent, dude. When you look at those guys play elsewhere, those guys are ballers. TJ Edwards is a baller, right? When you see him that he's not an Eagles green, you can appreciate it, right? When you look at Kaiser White, Kaiser White's a baller, right? And they also take the football away for linebackers. Okay, so when you look at those two, and then we know CJ when he's healthy, what kind of baller he is, and Omar Epps was a consistent safety, right? He was just consistent. So when you look around the room, and Javon Hargrave was a damn good defensive tackle and got paid like it. So let's not act like it was because we lost Jonathan Gannon we're not having success. Fuck that shit. You know what I mean? We're not having success like we want to because the talent ain't there like it was. Now you're praying for Shaq Leonard, and you're praying for Kevin Byard and Avonte Maddox coming back, and his defense can have some resemblance to maybe some things that they did last year. So I'll disagree. Fuck Gannon.
Yeah, I'll also disagree. I just think, it's more of a personnel issue than it is a coaching issue, right? I mean, we won. We were 11. What were we? 10-1, right? At one point.
Yeah, 10-1. Yeah.
10-1 at one point, and while the defense wasn't blowing people off, there was adjustments made in second halves of games that allowed us to win. Right? We're more or less James Bradbury falling off a cliff. Right? We're Darius Slay falling off a cliff, which you didn't fully expect year one after re-signing both of them. Which then allowed you to not re-sign CJ, Kaiser White, TJ Edwards, any combination of those guys to come back because you put them into the secondary. Fine, fair. It just didn't work out this year, right? Or it hasn't worked out yet this year. So, I'm going to go more personnel than coaching.
Yeah.
So I'll disagree.
You're a smart guy sometimes. Slayer, thanks, brother, for the super chat. He said somebody in the chat said earlier, but let's hope we don't get a scenario week 18 that the Rams lock in their spot and rest their starters. So good point. I think Don mentioned it first, Slayer.
We don't like to give Don any credit.
I'm going to read it out again. Go ahead. Sorry, Greg. What'd you say?
No, I said we're not giving Don any credit, so we'll give it to Dead Slayer.
Yeah, we don't give Don credit. David says, he said, I got my Don Father hoodie yesterday. Thanks, guys. Let's go. David, thank you, brother. Appreciate you. I hope you like it. All right. So, Chrome, the Eagles are still feeling the effects of Jonathan Gannon's departure. Do you agree or disagree?
I'm going to agree, and I'm going to agree for this reason. Whether it's both of them being gone or whatever, the bottom line is you make two coordinator changes. There's a difference. And the guys that are here last year have not looked the same. I mean, for all intents and purposes, Brandon Graham fell off a table this year. James Bradbury fell off a table this year.
90.
But the point being, though, right?
You knew that, though. Like
we looked
PG
at Brandon
to me
Graham
was somebody you expected BG's
You
a legacy
You
re-signing.
expected it the last 2 years for that to happen, though. He had his best season last season
I agree there.
under
Yeah.
Jonathan Gannon.
Yep.
So,
I
I mean, there's a couple guys. Fletcher Cox looked like Fletcher Cox last year for quite a bit under Jonathan Gannon. A lot of these guys haven't looked the same this year. And you know, on the other side, I think part of that is a double coordinator missing, where you have to focus. Like, you can't just focus on, okay, we lost one coordinator, we need to get everybody caught up on that side of the ball. They've had to kind of almost exhaust their resources across the entire offense and defense to try to get everybody on the same page. And listen, I think Gannon's done a pretty good job with the Cardinals overall. All things considered, they have no talent there. And that team's looked a little bit better, and they look like they have a future there. So I think he's proving he's a pretty damn good coach. And I do. I think they miss him. I like Matt Patricia better. I wish we would have had him all season. I might be speaking a different thing, but in terms of what I saw with Sean Desai to him, they missed him big time.
Yeah, I just saw a miss of talent more so than him, right? Because, like, I don't think the scheme was a big difference. I don't think it was like we changed really what we did. Like, totally. We may have, like, blitzed a little bit more than we did last year, right? But that was just because we weren't putting pressure on with our front four. But when I look at pressure and getting home with your front four, that's on you guys, right? Like, I can only do so much for that, right? So I can't get you home. Like, I can stunt and I can do different things to help you, of course, but you got to win those battles. So I can't. What the hell is that clicking?
Frank typing.
Ooh.
So I
heard
don't
My
too.
hands are on other things.
Yeah.
Hey-oh.
So I don't, I don't know. It's hard for me to, like, say it's him when you lose that many players that are good, right? That are good. And then say, well, those other guys didn't live up to their end of the bargain. Well, look what they've had behind them, too, right? Like, to give our front some credit, too. Look what's been back there, right? They don't have the same players back there they did last year. They don't have the same linebackers that were playing at those types of levels. So, like, who knows? We might be having a different. We might have never got rid of Sean Desai if we had those guys back. Who knows, right? Because sometimes talent wins. Make sense? Sometimes talent wins. But I'm not ready to say Jonathan Gannon. Like, you're running a parade in Arizona. You know what I mean? You just ran a goddamn parade through the streets at Glendale. I mean, you're unbelievable. I mean, what are you doing? Saying a great coach. You can say, hey, maybe things can work out. He had a little bit better year than expected, but don't go throwing, like, AP Coach of the Year around and shit. Like, what are you talking about? I love you to death, but that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous to give him that kind of love. What are you thinking? Are you all right today?
You just put about 47 seconds worth of words in my mouth. I didn't open my mouth one time there, because none of those words came out of my mouth. No, I'll tell you who's going to get Coach of the Year. It should. Shane Steichen, I think, should get Coach of the Year right now.
Yeah, we'll see. But no, I hear you. Frank, what do you say? Do you agree or disagree?
I disagree. I think it's more personnel. I mean, we're missing we lost a lot of key guys. I mean, CJ, GJ definitely hurt us. Losing TJ, losing Kaiser. I mean, and of course our D line, you don't have Hargrave as well. So a lot of guys, I mean, I'll give credit to the guys that are stepping up. Keely's stepping up. Jalen playing out of his mind right now, front runner to be the rookie of the year on defense. But yeah, we're starting to see some guys step up, starting to gel. And definitely the switch over to Patricia. I really like Patricia as our DC more than Desai right now. So right now it's just guys making those adjustments in terms of our personnel. It's more of personnel than it is to coordinators, and fuck Jonathan Gannon. So
Agreed.
Yeah.
Blake, what do you say about Gannon?
Yeah, I'm going to disagree as well. I don't think him being here would have made a difference to be, if he would have stayed on or not. I think it's like you said, it's more personnel than it is coaching. And I'll even throw this out there too. Like, maybe the Eagles just made a bad hire and Sean Desai. Who knows? I mean, I mean, you see, the way, he was coaching like throughout the season where there was a lot of, you saw some good things in some games and then other games, it was like, does this guy have a clue?
Mhm.
But I'm also going to make an argument too that the Eagles also had a coach they already had on staff that they also let go to Baltimore that they didn't even try to give a shot to. That you see what he's doing in Baltimore right now. He's killing it out there, Denard Wilson. So they had a guy in place, but I know it's easy to say that now. But maybe if you give it an opportunity to like somebody that was already on staff instead of going, on the outside, who knows? Maybe this defense looks a lot, in a lot better shape. But
Yeah, to your
like-
point, Blake,
Yeah.
the players spoke extremely high of Denard Wilson. There was a lot of stuff coming out of NovaCare that's who the players wanted the Eagles, Howie Roseman, Jeffrey Lurie to hire as the next defense coordinator. I'm not sure what fell through there. I'm not sure why they wanted to go outside of the organization. I don't know that thought process, but they obviously made a mistake. But at least they're willing to say they made a mistake, and they had a replacement in mind in-house through all this process of losing Gannon, where they really wanted Vic Fangio, but they couldn't get on him quick enough because they didn't know Gannon was leaving, right? Because they goddamn tampered with it. So then they got the news about Gannon. They couldn't go Fangio. I think they got caught with their pants down a little bit. So they should have hired Denard Wilson at that point when you got to there. You didn't, okay? You didn't. You go Sean Desai. But at least now you're willing to say, hey, we got to make a change. But at least saying, hey, we got to make a change. And having somebody in-house that has done it, and like Chris Long said, done it with less in New England, right? When he was there, I think that speaks volumes to the guy as a coordinator, as a defensive coordinator. And I think that matters. So the ability for them to make that change says a lot, man. We want accountability, right? We want people to be able to say, hey, we're wrong, right? It's okay, right? People make the wrong decision, okay? But they made the right decision by having that guy in place through this entire mess that I just went through, all right? Look, they still ended up with a guy like Matt Patricia, who had been a defensive coordinator for a team that's going to the Super Bowl, right? And that matters.
And I just want to make one point about that, too. I don't want to take anything away from this whole Matt Patricia thing either. Like, I mean, I think it was a smart move, like you just said, to put him in place. They had him on standby in case there was a problem. So I commend them for that. But but I just, like I said, my whole point with this whole thing with Denard Wilson, you had a guy there that, like you mentioned, a lot of the players liked and they wanted him to hire, but they didn't. But like you said, they acknowledged it. And I feel more confident in Patricia than I do Sean Desai at this point in the season.
Agreed. And Marcus said Denard Wilson was a run through the wall type coach. Howie whiffed. And Marcus, Pro Fan Talk, every Thursday, A2D radio. You can check him out. But he's right. I mean, it was a whiff. But I don't think they whiffed this one. I think they landed in some shit. Right? This is like, oh, we landed in some shit. Look at us. We ended up with Matt Patricia. Right? I mean, it could be a lot worse. That's a well-known defensive coordinator. Guy got a head coaching job because of how good of a coordinator he was. So it's the same damn thing. Right? It's the same thing, essentially. You're getting a guy who has ran the show before, too, and failed, had to come back down to earth, right? Those kind of guys matter, too, right? Because then they realize, hey, I'm really good at this, so I'm just going to be the best I can at this. Jim Schwartz type, right? Matt Patricia will be our defensive coordinator moving forward in the next year because I do think this defense will be better. How much better? I don't know. It's going to depend on the talent, right?
Mm-hmm. And looking at the talent, we saw what Ringo can do. Hopefully he takes that next step. You also have Isaiah Rodgers waiting in the wings right now. So when Rodgers comes in, you also have a draft which has a pretty loaded cornerback class. So maybe we take a corner like, hey, maybe another one of them Georgia Bulldogs to go alongside Ringo. Hey, it could work out. So there's a lot to look forward to going into next year in terms of the defense. And I hope we hold on to Patricia at some point.
Yeah, to make your point on that too. Like, I like those two young corners they got in Ringo and who's the other? What's the
Eli Ricks?
Eli Ricks.
Yeah.
That's it.
I like Ringo better. I think he has a higher upside, way more pedigree.
I will say this.
Yeah.
This is the types of things that concern me. That it is very clear that Patricia is the coordinator at this point. He's doing the press conferences and everything. Why are we still not acknowledging publicly that we've made a change? Why? It's just, to me, it's more of confusion and dysfunction in an organization that's not doing themselves any favors. Why can't we just openly say this is the change that's made now and move on from it, instead of this whole, he's making the play calls, but he's not the defensive coordinator.
Because all these NFL teams want to be like they're acting like they work for the goddamn CIA. You know what I mean?
Like, it's
come
so
on, man.
unnecessary.
The word consultant.
Yeah,
You
like you
can't
can
bring this
release the
guy back.
information to us.
Right. Like, you can't even bring this guy back now at this point after this year, if you even wanted to, in my opinion, with how this whole thing has played out. And again, that's a concern for me with the organization, though. An organization that usually doesn't have a whole lot of dysfunction, at least from the top.
Yeah,
this seems like a really dysfunctional situation right now.
I just think I agree with Marcus. I just think you no need to say it, you see it. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
but
what do you guys say? Look, they're going to do a State of the Union? No, but like, what am I? Now this is the problem.
Well, let me finish what I'm saying here.
Why are we looking for problems?
That's not looking for a problem.
We're 11 and goddamn 4.
It's not looking for a problem. It's creating confusion more and more of a distraction, because that the media and everybody's going to ask about it. And again, when you're hearing all these different things where players want to start doing their own thing and this and that, and they want to do their own scouting, like,
sorry, Don.
You're just creating more confusion in a situation, particularly on the side of the football, that you need to have simplified, not more complicated.
Martian, who are the reporters, right? Like, he said, reporters say that the team was miserable and tense while being 10-1. Thoughts?
What in the Jeff McClain is that about?
Yeah, like, I agree with Frank there. Like, I mean, this is Jeff McClain written all over this. Like, it got boring, right? Like, you're winning a lot. Let me find something. Right? There's always somebody unhappy, right? At every workplace. It's not kumbaya everywhere. And at the end of the day, these are goddamn professional athletes. We get caught up way too much in, like, what happens on the sideline. Like, it doesn't matter, dude. Like, right? Like, Nick Sirianni yelling at Hassan Reddick. Doesn't matter. He's his damn head coach. If he wants to yell at him, he can yell at him. That doesn't mean there's turmoil. You understand? It doesn't mean there's turmoil. I mean, he's the damn head coach. Get back on the field. What are you doing? Right? If he wants to yell at one of his coordinators, that's what he's the head coach, right? If AJ and Jalen want to have a deep conversation, right? Or DeVonta, who gives this shit? They're all friends. Like, you never played a sport then if you didn't go to the sideline and at 1 point or 2 points or throughout a season, get on your boy. Get on your boy. And you all think that means he's going to target him and look at him way more. He don't get more target than any other number one in the league. I'm going to riddle everybody that too. 11 targets Monday. All right. Dallas got to have 10. So let's not act like it's this discrepancy in targets. Right. And I think DeVonta had 8. So it ain't this big difference in targets. It ain't a guy like, oh, he's going to stare him down all the time. I don't even buy into that shit. Right. DeVonta had 5. Okay. But at the end of the day, right, it's like, yeah, why would AJ Brown not be targeted a lot? Like, everybody's like, well, that's what's wrong with our offense. No, what's wrong with our offense is we took the RPO out, okay? We try to shoot for the big play too much, and we're not getting it because we're not running the football like we did last year. What happened on Monday? Big play. Why? Because we run the football well. So was Jalen. So guess what that sets up? Big plays. This ain't fucking rocket science. God damn it. Right? Like, let's lock in here. Let's lock in. Like, we all want to search for problems. You know what I mean? Like, how about we instead of searching for problems, we talk about who's playing well and who's not. Like, that's what we're here to do. We ain't here to go looking under rocks. Like, oh, let me find out what's wrong with this 11-4 team. Right? There must be a lot of bad problems in here. Knock it off.
11-4. We have 2 guys still over 1,000 yards receiving, and what, AJ went over 100 catches before even with 2 weeks to go.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
Really, 1 week if you really want to count not having week 18, right?
Yeah.
Like, so in reality, that's really impressive. That's old school impressive per se at this point, right? But you guys know, like Greg said, who's unhappy? Like, everybody's over 1,000 yards. Everybody will get paid. Like, who's unhappy? No, We're unhappy because we see we're not playing to our level. So if you want to talk about turmoil or anything else, it ain't turmoil. It's pissed off because they know they're better. They know they're better than they played. Can we all agree on that?
I agree.
Absolutely.
Instead of making it like a lot of people do, like it's like this big turmoil in house. No, they know they're not playing as well as they can. Goodness gracious!
And they got to answer the same question every other week.
Yep.
Yeah,
Right. Like AJ, DeVonta said it all. Like, all right, I'm. What am I gonna say that DeVonta already didn't? Like,
yeah.
Okay.
Like, stop asking us the same thing. By that, we're going to take a quick break. A2D Wednesday nights on A2D Radio. On the other side, we'll give you our predictions. Week 17 Cardinals. All right. And a chance for everybody out there to win $300. Venmo, Cash App, PayPal. Whatever you take, we got. All right. So don't go nowhere. And this segment was brought to you by hats.com and use code Philly for 15% off your order at hats.com. And you can get the Brian Dawkins replica that he wore in the Hall of Fame speech. Check that bad boy out, or whatever hat you want. So go check them out. Hats.com. Use code Philly, 15% off. A2D Wednesday nights before we roll out of here for about a minute and a half. Hit the like, subscribe, follow, stay with us. Don't go anywhere.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, proudly celebrating 40 years and our new, bigger showroom.
Twice the size and twice the fun.
More pool tables by Olhausen. More dartboard sets, including custom reclaimed backboards. More bar and kitchen stools that can change a room.
And more bars, including pre-built and custom.
Hot tubs, skee ball, shuffleboard, outdoor,
and fun.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, your ultimate game room store. Now located on Bethlehem Pike in Colmar.
In our family, food is our daily bond. My nonna, affectionately called Mama by many, found solace and joy in the kitchen, sharing her love through delicious creations. She turned her culinary passion into a flourishing business alongside her husband and sons in 1983. Celebrating 40 years is a testament to our exceptional team, friends, family, and beloved customers. With gratitude, we look forward to the future, expanding our brand to share the highest quality Italian food and wine nationwide. Our heartfelt thanks to everyone who has played a part in our story. Grazie mille.
Hats.com is the premier destination for quality and fashion-forward hats and more, with designs for every style and trend. Locally based and run by Philly sports team fanatics, Hats.com can help you elevate your hat John. Utilize the easy-to-use guides at Hats.com to find your perfect size and style, and shipping and returns are free. Hats.com. Find yourself in a hat. Use code Philly for 15% off your order. Hats.com.
What up, fam? Welcome back. HUD Wednesday nights, only on HUD Radio. And this segment is brought to you by our doc. Make them yours, Dr. Paul Vidal, Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC, located in Burlington, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Find them on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. Greg's probably going number 2, but we're back. Tom, Crum, Frank, Blake, Greg, and everybody out there. So let us know. Score prediction time. Offense, defensive player of the game. Chance for you to win $300. Who do you got? Comment in. Let us know. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe. Tell your friends to tell a friend. 34-21 Eagles. Again, I'm going to go with the same score I had last week. I like that score. I think it's coming. You know what I mean? We would have had it last week, per se, right? We would have been in that area. So let's go. Let's go. He thinks he knows how to defend us. Well, let's see if he does. Let's see if he knows how to defend Jalen in this offense. Tall task for them. So, actually, no, I'll go up. What did I say, 31 or 34?
34.
I'll say 35-21 now.
Okay.
All right, I'll go that route then. All right, I'll switcheroo it. Go up a number. We'll go up a point. So, I think you're going to have a little bit tough with Kyler Murray, obviously, right, running and scooting around. Maybe I should put him more in the 24 range. If you ask me on Friday, I'll probably have him more there. But I'm going to hope our defense keeps playing better, right? And getting off the field, and maybe we get to him a little bit, right? We don't have the edges that are like if you're a running quarterback, you probably don't really want to play our DNs, right? Because they move pretty well. So not ideal for anybody who runs around. So I think it's a good matchup for us. It's a get right game. 34, 35, 21 Eagles. What do you guys say?
-11, 48.5.
Yeah, it's an over game. You would think.
Would you go 35-20?
35-21.
33-17. Eagles.
All right, I like it.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the space of you guys. And I never do this, but it's a roll job for me. 36-17 Birds.
Wow, love it, Cromer. Love it. Get up in here.
This is 100% a get right game.
Yeah, I agree.
Offensively and defensively. But I agree with you. I think I could see James Conner getting in the end zone, and I could see I think Kyler might end up ripping one off at some point in the red zone and getting in.
Yeah, I agree there, Joe.
As much as I want to say Eagles by 50, I want them to humiliate Jonathan Gannon in Philadelphia. I just the words I would like to describe how the Eagles would like to humiliate Jonathan Gannon. It's not safe for work, so I will keep those words close to myself. I will not burst out what I will be saying. So with that, I'm going to keep it more reasonable. I'm not going to say Eagles by 50. I'm going to go Eagles win. You know what? I'm going to go 33. Give me 33-10.
I would love that defensively. I think we'd be feeling a lot better around here. Blake, what do you say?
Well, last week, because, it was the Giants, I said, it was going to be close. I didn't think it was going to be as close as that. I was kind of hoping I was going to be wrong about that, and they were just going to smoke them. And I'm watching this game like, wow, like, I really hit this game right on the money. Not that I wanted it to end like that, but this week it's not going to be like that at all because it's Jonathan Gannon. I can't stand him. I've been waiting for this game. I want to see the Eagles smoke them, and they're going to smoke them. This is the bounce back game. They win it 38-6.
Wow, 38-6. All right, love it.
Even better. Kyler's not playing even better.
Yeah, Kyler's not playing.
I want Jonathan Gannon to squeal like a pig, like that one scene.
Absolutely. I agree.
Bailey, Bailey, if you've been here for a while, you remember that I was a big Jim Schwartz guy. Not a lot of people were, but it is what it is, right? It is what it is.
I know they updated his injury designation. Did they officially rule him out?
I don't know if they officially ruled him out.
I know Hollywood Brown
fantasy, so I got the he stinks.
Yeah. I didn't see that. If anybody else sees it, let me know. So.
I like I said, I haven't fantasy, so I know they did update his designation to I think question on a Wednesday.
Yeah, he got a long way to go. I would expect him to probably play in this game. He's got a lot to play for too. So a lot of guys do. So that's what I got. All right, that's what everybody's got. We're gonna go offensive player of the game. Let me go back to the quarterback. All right. Thought he played better last week, went over 300 yards, 24 for 38. I would like that to be a little bit better, obviously, guys, right? The one interception, not going to put it on him. Okay. And I thought he ran the ball probably not the best he's ran all year, but he looked good. 8 for 34, over 4 yards and a touch, right? So I thought he had a really good game. I didn't think he had a great game, but I think he had a good one. I expect him to even be better this week. So that's what I'm buying in with. Let's say he goes over 300, 3 TDs in the air, or 3 total. 3 total TDs, no interceptions. Okay. 3 total. I don't want to get that cute because he's got 15 touchdowns and he's averaging 2.6 yards a carry on those 15 touchdowns. Absolutely insane.
Yeah,
absolutely insane. So we all thought squats didn't matter, Greg, back in the day. I guess they matter.
Yes, they do matter a little bit.
I got a call.
I guess I was right about all that, huh?
Yeah, well, I'm thinking about this. I got a call today about Jalen Hurts, right? And you guys know I'm pretty real about him, right? So the call was really about how this person doesn't think he's as big of a leader as people think he is, right? And I was like, okay, it's like an interesting take. I want to dive into it a little bit more. Let me see. And he's like, I don't think Nick Saban's ever talked about his leadership. So, what I'm going to do when we get off the show is I'm going to go to YouTube and I'm going to see what I can find about Nick Saban talking about Jalen Hurts, right? Because, then he got me thinking, right? Like some of the things. And I'm like, I don't know. I think he's a leader. I think that's what we all said he was coming out of college, right? We talked about his leadership and stuff like that, right, Greg? That was some of the obvious things. So, I think again, the most scrutinized 11-4 team of all time, where I'll get a call like that. And it's a great conversation. Like I'm all up for it, right? And I'm all for conspiracy leaders, right? Like a conspiracy leader, not a real leader. And I'm defending him. You know what I mean? I'm defending him because I do think he's a leader. I said, you know what, dude? I don't get caught up in sideline stuff, right? I don't get caught up in like how he looked when the camera zooms to him. Like, come on. You know what I mean? I don't. It never bothered me with 5. And you can't compare Donovan to Jalen and T.O. and T.O. and Don to Jalen and AJ. Jalen and AJ are best friends, right? Like Jalen's AJ's got daughter's got what what I'm saying. I'm exhausted. Godfather, right? So, like, the end of the day, they're close, man. You know what I mean? Ain't no football going to break their bond, right? You guys understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I don't buy into that. I don't buy in that. Again, I don't buy in that there's any turmoil. Besides, they want to play better. So I'm going Jalen Hurts, offensive player of the game.
You don't even have to do the research. I just did it for you. SI did an article with Nick Saban talking about how Jalen Hurts got to how he is now. And he basically talked about, he says that Hurts essentially, the reason he is the way he is because he's never satisfied and always wants to be better. And he makes the players better around him. And he said the thing he learned the most was when he got benched, he used that situation in a positive way. And he became a better person and a better leader for it. So, yeah, he speaks pretty highly of him as a leader, actually.
Yeah, they all do. That's why I think it's funny. Like,
I'll send you the article.
Like the guy said to me, we're never going to win a Super Bowl with him. And I was like, we were just there.
You almost did.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, we were just there. How can we, how are we doing this? You know what I mean? Like, we're doing this. Like, all due respect, I don't think he's perfect, right? No human being is perfect, right? We all have our flaws, right? Nobody out there is flawless, okay? It's just not reality. Okay, neither one of you are flawless, right? But, come on. A lot of people have said a lot of great things about him. So, all right, that's my offensive player of the game, Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the recent trend here and go DeAndre Swift. Hopefully that trend continues.
Like it. I like it.
Offensive player of the game. I'm going to go. I'm going to go skinny Batman here. I think DeVonta has a big game here.
Let's go. Frank, offensive
player game. Do I want to piggyback? I'll piggyback. I'm going to piggyback off of Greg real quick because Arizona's in the bottom half of the rush defense. So, it's going to be DeAndre Swift party. We'll be Swifties for Sunday.
For my offensive player, I think I'm going to stick to running back as well. But this time I'm going to go with Kenny Gainwell. I think this is his time of the year where he starts getting it going, and I expect a couple touchdowns out of him Sunday. So
he's played pretty well lately. Yeah. He was really good the other day.
Yeah.
Kenny Gainwell, I like it. All right. So defensively, sorry, I'm just trying to look at somebody I want to yell at. Okay. I'm gonna go with Josh Sweat. I mean, just not enough production. I mean, you can't argue. Hassan Reddick has 11 sacks. So, I'm not going to crush him. You know what I mean? Like, he's at a pulse. Josh Sweat, the amount of snaps he's getting, that production needs to be higher, right? It just needs to be higher, guys. It's supposed to be. And at the end of the day, I'll say it again. Derek Barnett should never be trading the ends when you have a record like this, and he's a run stopper. He shouldn't be getting traded for whatever he got traded for. That has no value to it anyway. It's stupid. And now you're playing a guy way too many snaps, and now you're seeing he's not ready for that many snaps, right? You got to build up for that. So at the end of the day, I need a Josh Sweat game, right? How about a 2-sacker, right? 2-sacker. Now you're at 8.5 sacks. All right. When we look back at your numbers at the end of the year, we can say, okay, you know what I mean? Okay. You had a really good year, right? 6.5. We ain't going to look back and say that.
It's criminal. He's not over double digits. It's criminal.
No, it is. It is. And his partner's at 11. And shit to try to stop Reddick, right? So the fact that he isn't.
And Reddick was a slow starter. What do you have? Week 4 was his first sack? Right? Something like that? Maybe 1 through the first 3 weeks. So.
It is crazy that he's at 11. And I feel like it's been the quietest 11 because nobody else gets home.
No, like Milton Williams has a half a sack. I don't know if it's just snap counts, right? But why doesn't he play a little DN? Right?
Well, we obviously haven't sacked the quarterback the way we did, let alone at all, let alone what we did last year, right? You know what I mean? Like, we're nowhere near there.
No, we are not. And I think what they wanted to do, our 2 defensive tackles, Carter and Fletcher both have 5 a pop, right? So, but the Milton Williams one, he has tackles, right? Like he has, he's a good run stopper. We know that. I don't know why he doesn't play the end more a little bit when we know he can for a guy like Josh Sweat, right? They just give him the reps off. They and I know why they dealt what I dealt Derek Barnett. They dealt him to get Nolan Smith on the field, right? But like Nolan Smith isn't a run stopper, so that's a bad trade. You're not trading a pass rusher. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're not trading a guy's strength. You think Derek Barnett's strength is pass rushing. I disagree with that. I think he's a good one. I think he gives you more production that you don't see, right? Just more production you don't see on the football field. So, Josh Sweat game.
Love it.
What do you got?
Let me go Jalen Carter.
All right.
Need him to cement home that defensive rookie of the year.
Well, I think the 2-sacker does.
With a big time, 2 sackers, cement that home, get you what, 7 sacks on the year? That'll cement it.
Yeah, Pat, I can see him feeding AJ the ball too to break his own record. Chrome, what do you got? Frank, what do you got?
You know what? I'm going to go on the D line. I'm going to go Nolan Smith as my pick.
Okay. All right. That I agree with you. He's been a letdown right now. I think he's a project for what, just weight wise. I think they'll get that up. I think he'll have a better year next year, hopefully.
Yeah. And with a lot of the rookies this year, I think we're starting to see them, come into their own a little bit. And I think Nolan Smith getting that late start into this far into the season, I think we'll start seeing more of him, down the line.
Well, hopefully, week.
Yeah. I think
hopefully
this week, especially against a not so great Arizona team with probably one of the weaker offensive lines so far in the league. So I think we'll probably see a Nolan Smith coming out party.
Well, that'd be nice because, like you said, a lot of other first round picks are playing better, and he has 14 tackles and 1 sack. So, but again, he's 238 pounds, so that body's got to grow a little bit, right?
Well,
this offseason.
To that point, that's probably potentially why they put him in linebacker a few snaps this last week.
Yeah, Reddick's 240, so there's no way, in my opinion, that Nolan Smith's 238. Yeah, no shot. Right, no shot, right, guys? So, but we'll see. I hope he has a good game. Blake, who's your defensive player of the game?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the young corner Ringo. I liked how he played last week. He got that game-sealing interception, so I'm going to go with him. And like how he's playing, I think he's going to improve as the weeks go on. And I like what I see going into next season as well. So there's a lot of potential there too. So like what I'm saying.
No, there is. Ringo looks to be a little bit of a steal late. We'll see how that plays out, right? But no, this defensive front just needs to be better, right? And we'll see. But again, it starts with the secondary. Yeah, I agree, Marcus. Yeah. He's like a 225er. I mean, if you can get him to 240, 15 pounds isn't a lot, right? I mean, if you can get him to 240 by next year, he's a big impact guy. Because he can run. In a league where you need guys who can run, he can run. And he's just got to get better. His pass rush game is going to get better when he's 240. like I said, 225 or whatever he is. It's not helpful. But next year, right? Habib asked a good question. He said, does Maddox come back? He will. Yes. And he goes, what do you guys think about Ringo? Like I said, I think Ringo might be the steal of the draft for us outside of Jalen Carter, the way we're looking at it right now.
Yeah, my defensive player, I'm going to give two.
Oh, that's right. You were going.
It is Avonte Maddox if he plays this week. They may not play him this week and save him. If he plays this week, I think it's him. I don't even care, in terms of how many times he gets started. I think him just being on the field is going to make him the MVP of the defense, because you're going to see a whole world of difference up the middle. But him out, I like it. I like for all the reasons you guys gave, but I'm going to give who I think is the guy that will produce, because he's been the only guy that seems to have produced and gotten home to the quarterback. I'm going Hassan Reddick here. Yeah. I think this could be a game. Maybe Hassan could get two sacks out of this. So I'm going with the guy I believe will actually do it, and it's Hassan Reddick.
No, it's a good one. VD Pate says, when Slay is back, do you bench Bradbury? Well, let's see how Ringo plays, but I would let Ringo play. I mean, Bradbury's getting tortured, but will they do it? I don't know. What up, Dynasty? And Habib, you're right. Sweat and Reddick need to get home. They're not getting home enough. So there's that. All right, now we're gonna go over. Go ahead.
That's another thing I'm going to be interested though to see how does this affect Bradbury when Avonte and Slay are back, because he looked fine early in the year when all three of them were in the lineup. The moment he got moved into the slot for those couple of games, he has never been the same player, even when they moved him back. So I would be interested to see with the dynamic of those three guys, if that affects his play in a more positive way.
Yeah, before we go benching him. Yep. I can see that. I mean, he's a veteran. He's been brutal, but you want to see if he can snap out of it, and maybe there's some truth to that. All right, let's get into our picks. All right, let's get into our locks. Let me pull up the slate for you boys. We go right off it. We'll go right off at DraftKings. We'll go to the horse's mouth. Go to the horse. Check out her mouth.
You got it up, Frank? You want to run it
I
one
actually
last
have
time, Frank?
Too. Yep. All right.
Frank, right.
So we're going to start with Thursday Night Football. We got the New York Jets heading to Cleveland to take on Jersey Joe and the Browns. Browns are favored by 7.5. Your line is the over-under is set at 34.5.
Give me the Browns.
Yeah, I'll take the Browns too.
Sorry, Frank. What's the line?
7.5 for the Browns.
Give me the Jets to cover.
I will take the Brownies outright.
Brownies outright.
Brownies outright.
Blake? He's muted. All right. So go back.
All right, guys, I had the mic on mute. Yeah, I said the Browns.
Okay. All right, Browns. Next one, Frank.
All right, we go to the all-important Saturday game, which can determine some playoff seeding and also the Eagles division championship odds here. Detroit heads to Jerry World to take on the Cowboys. Dallas favored by 6, over-under set at 53.
I'm going to take Lions to cover.
Yeah, I'll take Lions plus the 6.
Cowboys. We talked about how they're really good at home, so.
Yeah.
I'll take Detroit to cover, but Dallas wins, unfortunately. Sorry, Don. But I'm hoping for a miracle.
Blake?
Yeah, as much as I'd like to see Detroit win, Cowboys are just unstoppable at home. So I like Dallas this week. I'm going to go with the Cowboys.
All right, next game. We start the New Year's slate. Don, be nice. We start with the 1:00 games on New Year's Eve. A possible AFC Championship matchup. The Miami Dolphins take on Baltimore. At Baltimore, the Ravens favored by 3.5. Over under is set at 47.
Give me the Dolphins plus the 3.5.
Yeah, I kind of like the direction Miami's headed right now, too. I take Miami 3.5 as well.
Monday night game. I think it's a real close one. So give me the hook there. I want the hook.
You know what? Give me the Dolphins on this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Miami as well. I like them this week. I mean, this might be a letdown for Baltimore after the game with San Francisco last week. So give me Miami.
Agreed. Yep, agreed.
Yeah, Miami also had a big win themselves, and they're on the road. They're going to be on the road. So give me Baltimore.
All right, next game. The Tennessee Titans head over to Houston. We don't know if CJ Stroud will be playing. He is still in concussion protocol. Texans favored by 4.5. Over under set at 43.5.
Give me the Titans plus the 4.5.
I think the Titans stink.
They do, but they always fight.
Ryan Tannehill now. I'm going to go with the Houston Texans on this one.
I think they stink too, but they're always in games.
Mm-hmm.
And with Stroud not knowing, I'll give me the 4.5 right now. That could change on Saturday.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right now. Give me the points when we're not 100% sure if he's playing yet.
Give me Tennessee.
Give me Tennessee with the points, but Houston wins.
Yeah, that's where we're at too.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Houston as well. I like the Texans this week.
Yeah, I don't think the Titans are winning. I just think they cover. What's the next one?
All right, Zappy Hour goes to Buffalo. Pats, Bills. Bills favored by 13. Over under set at 40.5.
Give me New England plus the 13. Give me New England plus 13.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, Tom. I take New England plus 13.
Yeah, I'll take New England plus 13, but Bills win.
I feel great about it. A lot of these lines.
Give me Bills.
Yeah, give me the Bills on that one as well.
I like a lot of the dogs to cover. If you see where I'm going this week. What's the next one?
All right, the Los Angeles Rams head over to New York to take on the Giants. Rams favored by 5.5. Over under set at 44.5.
I like the Rams.
Yeah, I didn't even do any locks yet. Yeah, let me lock in the Rams.
Lock it down.
Rams.
Dynasty is a 1:00 game for Rams Giants. So with that, you know what? To quote one David Roska, Rams.
You know, this might be a tough one to pick, even though it doesn't look like it's tough. I'm just going to take the Giants only because it's at home. I don't know. I have this feeling they might surprise us this week. So we'll see what happens. I'll probably be wrong, but why not? Let's go with the Giants. Upset.
All right, next game, the San Francisco 49ers head east to Washington to take on the Commanders. Niners, 12.5-point favorites, over under, set at 50.
Give me a 12.5. Give me a 12.5. I think Niners win, but I'm gonna lock it. I'm gonna lock in the 12.5. I'm really a fan of the points right now. some of these teams. It's because of where they're coming off a Monday night game. They're traveling east. Like, it's a really short week, man. They're going to win, but I think they can cover that 12.5. Niners win by 10.
No, you absolutely. I'm with you. We spent a lot of the time trying to talk into existence the Eagles becoming the number 1 seed. Washington at minimum covers.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't think there's a chance they cover in this game. I'm locking San Francisco.
You would.
If they stumble, it ain't going to be against Washington.
Nobody's saying stumble, babe.
Would be nice if they stumbled against Washington.
They would have
I don't see
a
it happening
stumble
here.
for them would be losing by like less than 14 points.
Winning, yeah.
They're winning by
Give me
They're
the
a different
Niners.
team without Trent Williams. So if he don't play this week because they're overlooking Washington because of, as Tommy mentioned, right, short week on the road, they're a different team without Trent
Hey,
Williams.
listen, I hope Jacoby has a career game. I ain't saying that happening, though.
In Jacoby, we trust for now.
And Ron Rivera wants to shut down Chase Young like he did his whole start of his career already.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Niners on that one as well. I think the Niners win straight up.
Yeah, we all do. But we're talking about the line. The line. Next
All
one,
right.
Frank.
Next game. All right, we got the Saints heading to Tampa. The Bucks favored by 2.5. Over under set at 42.5.
I mean, locking the Bucks.
Lock me Bucks.
I don't want to do it, but lock me Bucks too.
That might
Got
be
a
the
quick
pick of the
Bucks
week
question
from us.
for you after this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
give
I
me the
think-
Bucks.
It's just, listen, man. Like, it's why sometimes some guys you don't give up on at the quarterback position. Some guys you do. But you knew he
Absolutely.
could play. That's the point with him. In Cleveland, you knew he could play. All right. And sometimes you need a little humble pie in life. Right? Probably never been humbled really in his life. Especially not at the college ranks, right, Greg? So
Yeah.
when you look at it, like sometimes guys need that. And it says a lot about your character and your work ethic if you're able to go through these waves and come out and look, you revitalize your career somewhere. Now, is it nice to have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin? Of course it is. But you still got to go. You still got to go make the throws.
Give him the football.
And he does a great job. I mean, listen, he arguably comeback player of the year. You know,
Listen,
he's not getting talked about enough in that, right? But he's arguably, in my opinion, he's having a monster year.
No, and listen, he had a good second half of the run there with the Rams last year. He looked decent for them. I mean, I think getting out of Cleveland was huge for him. And obviously, we see kind of what a train wreck Carolina was to begin with. So I kind of gave him a pass on that. He looked decent with the Rams last year. And, this was kind of you put up or shut up. This is probably your last chance to start somewhere. And guess what? He put his money where his mouth is. He put the effort in. And look at that team. Nobody thought that team would be competing for a playoff spot.
No. All right. That's 3 of our locks.
That might be like the lock of the A2D Wednesday night show.
Seriously.
All right, next game we got
Blake,
the
did you
Carolina.
Yeah, let me make that pick real quick. Yeah, I like Tampa on that one.
Yeah, I'll take Tampa as well. All right, next game we got the Panthers heading to Jacksonville. Jags favored by 6.5. Over under set at 38.
Give me the Panthers to cover the 6.5. I don't know if Trevor Lawrence is playing.
Guys, I think it might be possible that Trevor Lawrence kind of stinks. There's a very good question out there. Is he really that good? Because he has not looked good. He's got a lot of talent on that team. A lot of talent. He's got a great head coach for quarterbacks. And he makes a whole lot of mistakes. If you want to talk about Jalen Hurts, go watch some of these Jacksonville games.
Yeah.
I'm with you, Tom. I never thought I'd pick the Panthers at all this season, but I'm taking the Panthers.
No, Bryce has played better. He's grown a little bit. Not size-wise.
No.
But
I'm taking the points. I mean, Jacksonville wins this, but I I don't know.
No,
if
there's
they
question
cover.
marks about Trevor Lawrence. I know he's been banged up, later in the season here. So how much does that affect his play? No Christian Kirk,
He
right?
didn't
No
look good
Christian
early
Kirk.
either, though.
No, I don't disagree with you. I think he's been fine through his career so far. You know what I mean? I don't think he's been like, oh man. Like last year, I thought he made some strides to say franchise guy, right?
I thought he would be an MVP candidate this year. I thought
Yeah,
he would be really, really good.
I think a lot of people's pick for that
He was
division
mine.
obviously was Jacksonville for a lot of reasons. So yeah, I don't think Carolina wins, but I do think they cover.
At one point, I think this year, if you take the names out, if you put his stats and Mac Jones' stats up against each other, you couldn't tell the two apart.
No.
They look the same.
And one guy's ostracized in the league and the other guy's elevated. And there's no wrong, right? I mean, it is what it is. But you're right. I mean, I kind of had those internal thoughts this week, or this past week watching them. I'm like, what is going on? Like you're missing wide open guys. And
yeah. 2 weeks ago, somebody said to me, I don't think he's as good as we thought. So I've really been paying attention his last couple of weeks. And I literally said out loud to myself watching Red Zone this week, he might stink. Like he might really not be good.
No, there's definitely some questions.
He might be like a Sam Darnold type of guy who might be a decent veteran, but not a high first round draft pick.
Not the number one pick of the fucking draft.
Nope.
All right, what do you guys got?
Give me the
Panthers.
Jags
I
to
think
cover.
Panthers outright. Oh, sorry, Greg. Go ahead. Jags.
Give me
pick,
Jags
Frank?
cover.
I'm gonna go Panthers in an upset.
Money line talk.
I'm gonna go Jacksonville.
I'm on the Panthers train. There was no reason they should have covered this last week, and they came back and covered and potentially almost maybe won the game if they got it in overtime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next one, Frank.
All right, next one. We got Arthur Smith fighting for his job and the Falcons heading to Chicago. Bears favored by 3. Over-under is set at 38.
Bears win this game. They've looked a lot better.
Bears defense is good.
Come back.
Bears defense is good. Give me the Bears. I'm going to go quick here. So Bears.
Bears.
Actually, lock me the Bears. I can't believe I'm saying that, but I'm going to lock Bears. Blake?
Yeah. Who are they playing again? Atlanta?
Yeah.
Atlanta.
Yeah, give me the Bears.
All Bears. Next one, Frank.
All right, we got the Raiders heading over to Indy, taking on the Colts. Colts favored by 3.5. Over-under set at 43.5.
Jesus. Give me the Colts minus the 3.5.
I've really liked what I've seen from the Raiders over the last few weeks. I think that Pierce has them playing really well. I'm going Raiders here.
You know what? I'm also going to go with the Raiders on this one.
Yeah, that was the Raiders Super Bowl. I'm going Colts. Lock it in.
Yeah, I'm going to go Raiders.
All right, next game. The Steelers head west, take on the Seahawks. Seahawks favored by 3.5. Over-under set at 41.
Go ahead, guys.
Seattle.
I'll take Seattle.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer's over.
Yeah, I'm going to go Seattle as well.
Fuck it. Give me Pittsburgh with the hook.
Yeah, I'm with you on Pittsburgh too.
Just the hook.
There's
I don't think they win, right? Just we're talking that hook.
I think they win. There's just something about Mike Tomlin teams that they somehow manage to have lock in and clinch winning records.
It's truly amazing. But yeah, give me Pittsburgh, I guess. All right, next one.
Next one, you got the Los Angeles Chargers heading to Denver, taking on Jarrett Stidham and the Broncos. Broncos favored by 3.5. Over/under set at 37.5.
Nobody.
I wish this was a tie.
Yeah, I pass. Give me the over 37.5 for funsies.
I'm going Broncos here, but this decision to sit Russell Wilson makes zero sense.
I actually like it because he stinks.
He's had a decent year.
No, if you look
Jared
at stats,
Stidham?
yeah. Hold on.
You didn't sit with Kevin. You didn't sit with Kevin Godwin.
Well, yeah,
for
you're
a year.
biased.
Listen about Jared
You're biased.
Stidham, okay? Jared Stidham, who I was told was going to be better than Tom Brady.
This has nothing to do with Stidham, right? This is everything to do with the guy stunk, and I like that he laid the hammer on it. And, and plus they saved him $37.5 million, right? So it's a no-brainer. Fuck him, right? If you watch him, he hasn't played good.
They're going to take the largest dead cap hit in history next year at like $87.5 million.
If they cut him. That's if they cut him.
They're good. I mean, you can't bench him and bring it. They're going to cut him.
No, because there's a reason they're benching him. Because if he gets hurt, right, and God forbid he tears the ACL and he's out for next year, he's still on a cap hit at $37 million. Listen to this. He's on a cap hit.
I know what you're saying.
Well, let me explain to the people. He's on a. Let me.
Okay, go ahead. Please.
He's owed $37 million if he got hurt and couldn't play next year on a cap hit. They can't afford that to happen. So Beans are out of the playoffs now. They're saying, fuck it. We're not going to take that chance. I guarantee that was talked to with him. Right? I guarantee that's
structure.
Yeah. So we'll see how it plays out. I also agree, Chrome, that him and Peyton aren't like kumbaya. But I also like, dude, you ain't playing great. Fuck it. They're watching tape, right? They have more insight on how he's playing than me. Sean Payton, you know what I mean? So who's for me to say, like, Sean Payton's an idiot, in my opinion. I'm not a big Sean Payton guy. But I like that somebody went in there and was like, they ain't going to take Russ's prima donna shit either. But let's go to the next game. Fuck this shit. I don't feel like talking about this guy. I don't care enough about Russell Wilson or Sean Payton.
At least we don't have to hear Broncos country. Let's ride for another.
No more let's ride.
Yeah. Until he ends up somewhere else, and then he's going to say like something just as stupid.
You remember when we almost had him and he declined a trade?
Thank you. Cincinnati at Kansas City.
Yeah, next
What's
game.
the line there, Frank?
Yeah, Cincinnati, Kansas City. Chiefs favored by 7. Over under set at 44.5.
Give me the Chiefs.
Yeah, Chiefs on this one.
Chiefs.
Yeah, I'll go
Give me
Chiefs.
the Bengals. Lock it in.
Yeah, definitely Chiefs for me.
The downfall's real.
Right.
The downfall's real.
Wow.
I just don't see Patrick Mahomes.
I love seeing Andy struggle. I love seeing him struggle.
I just don't see
better.
Yeah, I just don't see Patrick Mahomes having another bad game. I think he bounces back this week.
They could. All right. Everybody go.
Depends on who's going to catch the football.
Yeah, well, that's true too.
All right, and the last game, our 8:20 football game on New Year's Eve, Sunday Night Football presents the Green Bay Packers taking on the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings favored by 1.5. Over under set at 46.
Give me Packers.
Same. Lock it in.
Lock it too. Yep. Go ahead, Greg. Lock. Yep. 3-peat. How you going?
Skull.
Skull it is.
Skull.
It's Packers, Vikings, right?
Yep.
Correct.
Okay. Just making sure I'm here. Clarifying. Yeah, give me Green Bay.
You know what? Give me Green Bay with the upset.
Green Bay with the upset. All right, guys. All right, great show. It's been A2D Wednesday nights. Let's go Eagles. You can go back and listen to it on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or anywhere you get your podcasts. All right, everybody have a happy New Year. Hope everybody had a Merry Christmas and happy holidays. Now it's going into the new year. A2D will be launching some new shows in the coming month/months. No more than 2 months out. So stay tuned for that. I think you'll really enjoy it. For Tom, Chrome, Greg, Blake, and Frank, this is Frank's last show. So everybody say goodbye to Frank. Frank, got anything to say on the way out?
See you, buddy.
Wow. it's been almost since day one since I've been a part of this, which is crazy. I think only Noah and Maddie have like at least a couple more weeks ahead of me here, which is just crazy. Yeah. It's been a fun ride. I will say that. I'm really excited, with the new job coming in, crazy to think my new gig, it's been like many years in the making. Don't want to get into personal details. I don't want to pull back the curtain a little bit too much, but I'm living a childhood dream right now, and it's very exciting to actually do something like this. So that's all I'm going to say. I will leave it at that.
Well, congratulations, Frank.
Thank you.
It's awesome. Congrats, buddy.
We'll miss you, brother.
Yeah, congrats, man.
Congrats, brother.
Thank you.
Everybody out there,
and just for you, Don, let's throw it up. Throw that comment up from Don.
What?
Oh, not that one. Not that one. This one. Yep, there we go. For one more time, go Birds! There we go.
We're out, everybody. A2D Wednesday nights, brought to you by Royal Billiards. Go check them out, 515 Bethlehem Pike, Colmar, PA, or visit them on the web, royalbilliards.com. See ya.